today. So, the second presentation and the fourth presentation has been canceled, and we're not sure if the sixth presentation will join us today or not. Okay. So, without further ado, let's start with the first presentation.
Hello to you all. My name is Orna Turin. I am a teacher in Gordon College of Education, which is a teacher training college in Haifa, which is a northern city in Israel. Hello to you all. My name is Orna Turin. I am a teacher in Gordon College of Education, which is a teacher training college in Haifa, which is a northern city in Israel. And my main subject is media literacy. However, my present research subject is the differences in the perception of giftedness among Jewish and Arab students in our teacher training college. And just to introduce a very small introduction, because I have only 6 minutes, I would say that although we tend to perceive giftedness as an individual cognitive trait, as some kind of an accident of nature in a certain individual who got this gift in a bigger amount than other people, giftedness has much to do with the cultural context, and we can see the differences between Athens and Sparta. Sparta glorifies the ethos of battle, while Athens admire words and dialogues and speech and rhetorics, and they were quite next to each other, no more than 100 kilometers, and yet they developed two completely different ethos of giftedness. For many years we had a quantitative definition of giftedness. Giftedness is if the average intelligence level is 115, so giftedness is 130 and above. But then we do have some qualitative, very interesting definitions who says that being gifted is not more of the same. This is something completely different. You have to have certain qualities, and only the combination between them can lead you to be a gifted person. I'm moving straight, I'm passing examples, and I'm moving straight to my research. I wanted to compare between Jews and Arabs in this particular concept. And I have to say that Jews in Israel are the largest majority, 80%, and the Arab are 20%. The Jews speaks Hebrew, and the Arab speaks Arabic. The first group, the Jewish, are privileged, and the second one are a repressed minority. And of course, there are significant differences in all values and customs and way of life and living. My research question is articulated in this way. How are the differences in norms, beliefs, and values expressed about giftedness? And all the students were asked to put themselves in the shoes of a school principal who had a limited budget the principal must choose only 3 enrichment courses from a list of 12 options, and the question was, what would it be? What would be the desirable enrichment courses in the eyes of Jewish and Arab students? And observing the selection of the overall sample, I am glad to tell you that without dividing it by nationality, the most popular courses were rhetoric and fostering leadership, and the lower rating was given to poetry and painting. While searching the difference between the two groups, we can see there are differences. There are more similarities, but the differences were that current affair and politics, next to fostering leadership, was chosen by Jews considerably more than by Arab, and the opposite with programming game for mobile phone. This was preferred by Arab students. And I just want to take this finding, this particular one finding, and try to explain it. Explaining this finding and other findings prove that the political situation in the Middle East permeates into every dimension of life. For a member of the Arab minority, mastering new technology is an alternative mobility channel. Much like sport, it is free from state pressure and discrimination. On the Jewish side, choosing rhetoric, politics, and leadership as a suitable enrichment course shows the effect of the Western globalization. Because I think that the election of Donald Trump and all the reality shows put in the front those capacities of talking and leading, and give them make them a bigger and much more issue than any other quality of our social life. But the main, I think, and most surprising finding is the lack of difference. This means that the two cultures are getting closer, becoming similar to each other regarding proper education and goals in life, even if not within their political aspiration.
Okay, so that's the end of our presentation. Let me turn off the volume here so we don't have a feedback loop. So, excellent. Ornat, are you with us? Let me see here. I'm not sure Ornat is with us. If you are Ornat, you should see a white or green microphone button up at the top if you'd like to join in the conversation. We'll wait just a few more seconds here for Ornat to join in. Okay, no problem. So we're right on schedule for the next presentation, actually 3 minutes behind for the next presentation. So let me get that loaded and we'll move on to this. Let's see here. Okay, so this is the next presentation by Liat Sobolev-Mandelbaum and Orly Morag. And you'll see the title here in 1 second. This will take a few seconds to load. Let's see here. Okay, once it's loaded, we'll begin.
This presentation focuses on the reflective journals written by students in the action. This presentation focuses on the reflective journals written by students in the action research course in which we, the researcher lecturers, collaborate as readers and responders. Based on the ideological and practical goals of action research, we aspire to get the students to undergo a holistic process encompassing emotional, professional, moral, and personal change. We shall present the implications of ongoing collaborations of student learning process, primarily informing awareness to existing patterns that make them uncomfortable and actions that promote changes. The research method analyzed the content of some 50 journals out of 80 in total, written by students throughout the last academic year. A critical examination of journals reveals that our active participation as guides and writers who take on the role of friendly critics to our students form a dialogue, a reflective discourse of the students between themselves and with us as well. They were given a safe, intimate, yet open space for professional and personal deliberation. Our responsive writing encouraged awareness of ideas and actions, transforming the students from objects conformed by reality to subjects who operate within reality and change it. Thus, the journals helped the formation of conceptual change within the students and changes often dramatic to their demeanor in schools, in classrooms, and with the training teachers. Many studies have been written about action research and its goals. In such a research, the researcher himself becomes a tool, emphasizing the process more so than the outcome. The researcher is a participant through and through, collecting data to which he is an integral part. The purpose of such research is to plan change while collecting data and various activities, then implementing this change in several spheres and conceptualizing a theory accordingly. In order to best implement their insights, researchers must define discomfort, suggestions for activity, and desired change. The implementation of action research in education, whether in educational institutions or teacher training institutes, bridge between the ivory tower and academic theory and the actual file. Active teachers who face daily challenges, dilemmas, and discomfort. Our course pedagogy and methodology include multiple spheres of integration. One of them was the journal, a shared Google Docs file in which researching students recorded their ongoing process, and we their guidance provided notes and insights in an ongoing dialogue. The purpose of this journal was to continuously document events in relation to discomfort as examined in the study in relation to emotional, social, moral, and pedagogical aspects. It is a place to raise questions, doubts, and dilemmas, a place to share disappointment, success, and change, to which we provide personal and discrete comments. Our research findings are in those categories. 1. The journal as a space for cultivating students-wide dialogue. The dialogue in the journals were free, open, non-judgmental, and permissive, allowing for guidance, advisory, and updates. Second, the journal was a tool for developing reflective capabilities and self-critics, expanding thought and problem interpretations. Those teachers in training even in the third year faced difficulties with reflective thinking and writing. Through the journals, they wrote out the situation they had experienced and analyzed them. For many, at early stages of research and writing, it was a technical task rather than a reflective one. With our commentary to the writing and by our asking guiding questions, students developed their skills going from intuitive and technical to reflective. One more category is the journal as a therapeutical tool for processing situations. Journal allowed our students to become aware to formally subconscious processes and become more aware to themselves and the situation itself. One more, the journal as means for facing writing, blocking, and improve writing skills. Our analysis reveals a difficulty in descriptive writing. Over the course years, we discussed the dilemmas and challenges as well as the consequences of writing journal. We shared our thoughts and examined how journal can be used in the other students' training
Okay, so unfortunately, Liat Savolev Mandelbaum was not able to join us. We're uploading and preparing Venera's presentation, so just 1 second and we'll get that started. Venera, are you with us? If you can hear us, why don't you type into the chat box. You should also be able to see a microphone at the top of your screen. If you want to click on that, you can take over the presentation and give us your comments. Let's see if that works.
Do you hear me now? Hello? Do you hear me? Hello?
Okay, Venera, we're just about ready to get started with your presentation here. Let's see, you should have at the bottom left part of your screen, you should have 2 arrows so you can go back and forth in your presentation. Be sure to speak slowly and clearly into the microphone. I think we can hear you fairly well. If you'd like to start your webcam, you're welcome to. It is not required, however. So I'll use the chat box to give you feedback if you need to speak louder or anything like that. But otherwise, I think as long as you can control the next slide and previous slide, we're ready for you to start whenever you are.
Thank you. I'm ready. We can start. Yeah? If we are ready to start, so let's start our presentation. Well, could you please type if you can hear me? Okay, thank you very much. My name is Venera, and today I'm happy to present 2 universities. First, that I'm proud to be a student of, it is International Black Sea University, and North Iraqi University, private Ishik University, where I am working this year. So, as a part of my research, I was very much interested in the content and the course development, where the alignment of the course content assessment and the outlines plays an important role. That's why I wanted to share the information I have received and the information I have with other scholars who might be interested in it as well, and maybe also will use it in their researches. So shortly, the outline of my presentation, you can see it here. All right. Yes. So I have worked in 3 different countries, and I taught English to students of more than 10 nationalities and educational background. And comparing to writing, reading, and listening, the most problematic skill to be taught has always been and is speaking. That's why I focused it on this particular skill on this research. What I found out, many scholars agree on that speech is one of the most complex skills, most of the complex processes in human mind and in human behavior. That is why a lot of scholars, not only linguists but also psychologists, started studying it, and they united the studies in one research, psycholinguistics, which studies how the language is how the language is produced, and how it is connected with linguistics. Well, to be okay here. Yes. So most of the teachers think that speech production can be done very well and can be appropriate and very well produced if students have enough knowledge of grammar and vocabulary. But unfortunately, situation is not that simple, and it is essential and necessary to study how the process of speech is done. That's why Leveled, one of the scholars who is interested in this sphere, suggested a linear model of speech production. Oh, sorry. Okay, linear model of speech production. Okay, which includes conceptualizing, which stands for let's imagine a library where students go and find the right shelf to take the book they want to. Then the brain goes to the next stage to produce the speech, which is I think something goes wrong with the slides. Let me figure it out. Okay. You do not see it on the screen. So we talk a little bit conceptualizing. So the next stage is formulation, where students in their brain find the necessary words, grammar, putting them together into the sentences, and later the speech is ended into articulation, where the muscles and where non-linguistic conceptual system is mapped into the semantic roles in sentences. Well, and in the middle of the 20th century, other scientists such as Koch and Field suggested both two other models of speech production: top-down model, which starts from knowledge and continues to the more simple and basic elements as words, phonemes, and the other model is bottom-up process of speech production, which starts from data and slowly goes down to lower levels such as morphemes and words. Even though the speech production process in some particular situations may follow top-down or bottom-up, or as in previous model, from conceptualizing to articulation, in the most situations in real life, communication process occurs simultaneously through a process of spreading activation of interconnected neural networks in the brain. So what to do? What can be suggested to the teachers? For some particular activities, teachers may choose one or another model to develop speech production on early stages of development in language learning. However, teachers should not forget that in real life, the process of speech production doesn't go through this simple processes, two processes that I have mentioned, and since all of the everything in speech must and usually takes place simultaneously. The speech production mostly, you do not see it here on the screen. No, you do not see it. The speech production must be viewed as a process that happens at the same time, so the learners need to know, to be able to use their knowledge of the grammar, of words, concept, all together, synthesize in their brain and then produce it. So the teacher's role in this, so what is the teacher's role? teachers should be aware of all the models to develop their content in general, and every activity in particular to enable students to improve their speaking skill. While teaching speaking, it is also necessary to mention the problems that the learners can face with and the problems and obstacles that prevent them from producing appropriate speech. The first one is bashfulness or suppression. It is the situation when students are not very often afraid of saying things in the target language in the classroom because they worry about making mistakes in front of peers. They are afraid of being criticized or simply shy of being in the center of other people's attention. Another problem that we often face with, it is the situation when students simply have nothing to say. In this situation, probably teachers may have their own solutions. My suggestions are to first help students choose the topics for speaking that students might be familiar with, or as a prelude of a speaking activity, teachers may provide some listening, some video, or any similar activities to help students to get information and be able to produce speech later after this speaking activities. Another problem is unequal participation of individuals, which take place especially in large groups where many very often very active students speak more than others, and in many situations some students just simply never speak in the class. Here the teacher's role is to provide the activities which will involve all students to speaking process and help them to practice it in the class. It is especially important because in the countries where English language is not spoken on a daily basis, students do not have opportunity to speak English anywhere. It is only the class where they can practice it. Right. And the last problem is the first language use. Students in the class together in the same, especially if they are in the class where all of them speak the same language, it is easier all the time for them to communicate in their own language, which prevents them from practicing English in the class. So again, here it is necessary to make maybe students busy all the time, or provide them interesting activities so they will be pushed to use English during the class, not their own language. So they have more, they will be able to practice more and more in the class. As a conclusion, I would say that speaking, yes, it is very difficult to develop, and we are very often faced with a problem when students have very good knowledge of grammar, very rich vocabulary, but when the turn comes to speaking, they are not able to produce two sentences one after another, and the solution for this problem might be teacher trainings, maybe, or special trainings after the university, maybe, or during the education at the university, preparing English language teachers who would provide them the necessary information how to develop the content, what to pay attention on, and what are the models and what are the processes happening in the human mind. So the teachers will be able to pay attention to each particular process developing and helping students to learn the language and improve it and become more proficient. So in this case, teachers can, Well, so I wanted to say, so here the last sentence, educators should pay more attention to speech as a psycholinguistic process, and then they will be able to create more efficient approach when planning lessons on speaking. Yes, and thank you.
Okay, excellent. Thank you so much for sharing that, Vanira. And I hope to someday meet you in person here at IRCEELT. We had one more presenter scheduled today, but it looks like they're not going to join us. And then the last presentation had canceled for today. So I believe that is it for this session of the virtual conference. We have, let's see here, just to remind you, we have, sorry, one second. We have, of course, a website. Let me share that with you very quickly. And I want you to remember that we have lots of resources on this website and more information coming soon about the proceedings from the conference. The recordings of this session will be available on the website as well. If you have any questions, feel free to get in touch with me. Ornat, do you have any questions for Vanira? Looks like Ornette said, thank you. Okay, I think we'll wrap up for today. Oh, Vanir is typing. Okay, thank you both as well for the interesting sessions, and we wish you all the best.